Hey everyone, welcome back to the range. I've got an exciting new product launch demo review today. This gun looks an awful lot like the CMMG Banshee and 45 ACP that I reviewed a few weeks ago, but notice something about the magazine? Maybe hard to see from a ways, but what does that say on the magazine body there? 5.7 by 28mm. Say hello to the CMMG MK57, a brand new 5.7 by 28mm firearm. Let's sit down and talk about it. Like the MKG45 Banshee, the MK57 is offered in a couple configurations. Due to some timing, the SBR Banshee version of this was unavailable for me to test. The Banshee utilizes a 5-inch barrel, and the guard I have here with the stabilizing brace has an 8-inch barrel. The guard and pistol configuration has a KAK shockwave brace, ambidextrous sling plate, oversized magazine release, and standard AR-15 forward assist charging handle, bolt release, mag pull pistol grip as well, and an A2 flash hider / compensator. We have a mil-spec single stage CMMG trigger that was identical to the 45 Banshee that we tested. We have CMMG's MRL7 M-LOK rail here with M-LOK on the 3, 6, and 9 o'clock positions. Both upper and lower receivers are obviously a forged 7075 T6 aluminum. As mentioned, the MK57 is offered in 5 and 8-inch barrel configurations with 1/2-inch by 28 threads. Barrel is a 4140 CM and is salt bath nitrided with a 1-in-9 twist, which should stabilize loads from 28 to 62 grains without any issues. Threads are approximately 412 inches in length, so any 22 can will work on the gun without the need for a spacer like on some guns with the 600 thousandths long threads akin to 5.56 guns. Like the 45 Banshee, the MK57 runs off CMMG's radial blowback design. Essentially, the bolt carrier group is very AR-15-ish. The bolt itself is spring-loaded, and when it interfaces with the barrel extension, it will slightly rotate to lock in place. On the 45 version, you could tune the bolt carrier with weights to meet specific ammunition function needs. On the MK57, the bolt is very lightweight at 9.9 ounces with the bolt carrier and bolt, and has a 3-ounce buffer, with an optional 1-ounce lightweight buffer that may be needed for subsonic loads depending on barrel length. The MK57 weighs 5 pounds 8 ounces with an empty magazine, and the TRS-25 sight and mount you see here. 50 rounds of 5.7 weigh 12 ounces, whereas for reference a box of 124 grain 9mm weighs right around 1 pound 4 ounces give or take. Field stripping is accomplished like any AR-15. Ensure your weapon is clear. Move the rear pin here, then the front pin. Hard to do on camera. Separate the two halves here, maybe. There you go. You can see the transfer bar here that activates the AR-15 bolt hold open, similar to the 45 Banshee there. This works with the factory magazine to bump up bolt release like that. Here you can see the bolt carrier group. There is no gas key at this time. If you aren't careful, this bolt carrier can slide out of your upper. Unlike the AR-57 uppers, the MK57s are fed with the FNH 5.7 10 or 20 round magazines. Due to availability, the guns ship with one 20 round Pro Mag, which has been less than stellar in performance. Elite Ammunition sells extra power mag springs, which helped a little, but the Pro Mags, let me make sure I have the right one here, have a lot of body flex, so they tend to cause the most issues. The 30 round Pro Mag I have here made the gun way less reliable and was noted by CMMG. Only the factory FN mags reliably drop free from the gun when the bolt's back. Here's the Pro Mag here. It doesn't really lock in that great. And actually this time it doesn't even, if I hit the bolt release there, doesn't want to drop free. Here is the 20 round Pro Mag. Kind of gets stuck a little bit in there. And here's the 5.7 Mark II magazines. Oops. You see they drop free on an open or closed bolt. So how does it run? I've got about 500 rounds so far through this testing and evaluation gun, and I've run probably more random samples of ammunition than most of the other reviewers had access to. I had some purposely underpowered loads that were supersonic but slower than the American Eagle TMJ. I had subsonic loads as well as full power loads. The subsonics I had ran the bolt open with the lightweight buffer every time. I did have occasional feeding issues, but most of that seemed to be again from the Pro Mag's body flexing, allowing a round to randomly pop up at a weird angle. Since this gun has an 8-inch barrel, I'm sure everyone is curious about velocities obtained from common ammunition. The American Eagle TMJ in 90-degree weather got an average of 1,610 feet per second in the 4 3/4 inch 5.7 barrel, 1765 in the freakish EFK 7-inch barrel that I have for this. In the PS90 SBR was 1834 feet per second, and in our MK57 1821. The 40 grain standard round SS197 SR, it's a 40 grain VMAX, hit 1708 in the 5.7, 1809 with the 7-inch barrel, 1980 in the SBR, and 1936 in the MK57. SS198 LF, which is a law enforcement round, contains a 28 grain bullet that is an open tip match design with an aluminum core. By federal definitions, this round is not considered armor piercing. In the 5.7 we got 2106 and 2265 in that 7-inch barrel. The SBR clocked in at 2352 and the MK57 at 2352 as well. Finally, we had Elite Ammunition's S4M, which is essentially the same 28 grain bullet as the SS198, but faster. I feel a need for speed. The 5.7 clocked in at 2106 and 2265, 2575 for the SBR, and 2513 for the 8-inch MK57. It's not bad velocity-wise. A lot of people online will say that the 5.7 is just a glorified 22 Magnum. I would have to say that's a very far stretch. The 5.7 is a centerfire cartridge that can be loaded with virtually any 224 diameter bullet ranging in weights from 28 grains to 62. 22 mag will only typically have soft lead-plated bullets and of course is ultra-reliable rimfire. Velocities obtained in shorter barrel 5.7 guns typically exceed most 22 mag velocities. Ammunition prices will vary, but I typically buy American Eagle TMJ when it's $15 to $17 a box of 50. Some of the more exotic 5.7 ammo from Vanguard Outfitters or Elite gets to be right around that $1.75 to $2 a round mark, which is what you find sometimes for premium home defense prices. As far as bullet performance goes, let's look at some of the ammunition included in the gun from R&R Weapons Systems, Elite Ammunition, Detroit Ammo Co., and Vanguard Outfitters. You can find a lot of other ammunition that I've tested in 5.7 by 28mm throughout my channel versus various barriers. So I'll just run pretty much an abbreviated rundown here of different clips from what we obtained with gel shots with this. For our ballistics gel testing, what we're going to do is I'll pick 2 rounds that are kind of similar. So the first one I'll do the American Eagle TMJ, then I'll do the Elite Ammunition Penetrator 2.0 round, which is the same 40 grain loading, but a little hotter. We have some 6x6x16 clear ballistics gel blocks down below with some water jug backers. We'll try to get a chronograph reading. It will take both shots, go down, look at it, we'll briefly talk about it, show the slow motion, and then move on to the next. The velocity reading, now the 1993 on the EA. So in this case, both rounds completely penetrated the 16-inch block. Similar wound profiles there. Quite a bit of neck there. We'll see if we can find him in these milk jugs real quick. The Penetrator 2.0 was found in the second milk jug. Couldn't find the American Eagle. Could have penetrated further. Maybe the less energy let it go a little further, a little less disruption. Let's move on to the next one. CMMG AE-TMJ 1.32 inches at approximately 25 yards. The Bushnell TRS-25 from a bag. So now we'll do the SS-197, which is a 40 grain VMAX round, and then the Protector 1 from Elite Ammunition, which is a ballistic tip round as well, 40 grains. Velocity on the SS-197, 1932. Velocity on the EA, 2089. Looks like I was a little high on that one. In this case, it looks like the SS-197 had better instant neck there. Look at that. The Pro 1 is on top. Maybe the neck isn't so good because it's close to the top of the gel block, but still insane disruption. But the Protector 1 actually travels down towards the bottom of the block, and right around 16 inches for both of them. The Protector 1 is right here. The SS-197 is back there. Had much more straighter path. You can see some fragments here. Looks like they left the block. You can see up here, maybe not so well. Let's move on to our next test. So 197 CMMG 23 yards Bushnell TRS-25 1.55 inches. Now it's Battle of the OTMs. This is the 28 grain SS-198 LF. It is an aluminum core open tip match round. Then the S4M is the identical round to that, except it's moly coated and faster. $23.59. 25.10. Now here's the interesting thing about the OTM here. We got a fairly longer neck, but good disruption starting in the 5 to 6 inch mark. However, typically there's the SS-198 LF round. You can see a little green tip there, right around 11 inches. Now with S4M, what typically happens is the higher that velocity gets, you get towards that fragmentation threshold. So right there is the aluminum core. That little fragment right there is part of the jacket, and right up here around 12 inch mark is the jacket. Alright, time to check out our exotic copper. First we have the Vanguard Outfitters Black Dragon Fang, and then we have Elite Ammunition's T6B. Both are in all copper. The Vanguard's is a softer copper. The Elite Ammunition's is a harder, I think on the C scale copper, pretty hard. Both 32, 34 grains. Did I shoot the same hole again? 23.76. 22.56. apparently I can't do anything right when it comes to gel blocks. Keep hitting the same spot. Now it's raining outside. Still not sure what's up with these two tips up here that have just randomly come out of nowhere. We found the Vanguard and the EA base way past the 16-inch mark, probably into the 20. Hopefully it looks cool on high speed. And finally, we'll run some of the 55 grain full metal jacket subsonics out of this just to show you kind of what they do in gel. Show you they're not just a 22 long rifle. An impressive full metal jacket style, wound cavity there, really long neck, looks like we got some tumble going on there, full 16 inches of the block, and the bullet is sitting right there, one of them at least. Now R&R Weapon Systems does make an all copper expanding round. We'll have to see if we can get some of those in for the test before this is over. As you can see, the 5.7x28mm is no slouch. Many of the loads sit in the 12 to 18 inch plus penetration realm with pretty decent wound cavities. I tested SS198 LF a long time ago in a pork shoulder, and it had a wound cavity that exceeded 45 HST and about the same penetration depth. The 5.7x28mm certainly fits certain roles better than others. Is it a 5.56 replacement? No. But as a pistol caliber carbine, it definitely has some penetration advantages over other pistol calibers such as 9mm, 40, and 45. Down to the home stretch. What do I like about the MK57? Fit and finish are excellent. Just like the Banshee, the Cerakote job is amazing. This is a T&E gun, so there is some finish wear on the brass deflector here, but all the machining on the upper and lower receiving are very nice. Very tight upper and lower fit with no side wobble like I noticed on the Banshee 45. That's a good tight lock up there. It uses 5.7 magazines. While the 5.7 magazines are a little in short supply right now, the Pro Mags work okay for the range and aren't too terribly priced. The gun ran everything I put through it. We ran the gun suppressed with a light buffer and got great function out of all the subsonics that we tested. As I mentioned before, with an actual 5.56 can, the 5.7 is 22 long rifle quiet, especially with the subsonics I use from Detroit Ammunition Company and R.A.N.G.E. Weapon Systems. I also love how they did a slightly flared barrel for the threads, so there's plenty of flat shoulder to torque mounts and suppressors against. My only neutral thought is that since the MSRP of the MK57 is $13.49 and up, they could have at least included a set of backup irons on it. I usually don't keep any spare sights around, but your mileage may vary. I don't have any negative comments on the MK57, but I do have a concern when it comes to spent brass life. The 5.7x28mm has a polymer style sealant on the case. It's supposed to help with extraction and the blowback design of the 5.7 and the PS90. The CMMG is a little hard on the brass. Through the different ammo types, I noticed more shoulder movement than in the other two platforms. The bolt carrier at times with the Pro Mag would scratch a line in the brass and remove the coating in that area. You can see this on the mag follower where the bolt carrier is starting to wear the follower. I was able to use a set of Lyman dies and size the brass back to normal specs, and it passed the go gauge here that I have from Elite Ammunition. The brass deflector gets beat up pretty hard. Just something for anyone that reloads to consider, since care has to be taken to maintain the coating on the 5.7x20mm brass. I'd like to thank CMMG for inviting me in on this project, Silencer Shop for providing me with the El Camino and the Griffin suppressor, and my Patreon supporters. I'm very excited to see another 5.7 platform hit the market. Who knows, maybe this will drive someone to import the Fort 28 pistol to compete with the 5.7. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, catch you at the range.